charging everybody with taking down.
So, Barclay, can you go back and can you go back and read that again? Can you
So,
can you go back to the picture of the author and everything? Go back all the way back, Noble. Gratitude. Yep. Go back a little bit more.
so
Yep.
portrait of
Now go back a little
antiquary.
bit more, Noble. I'm sorry, cause this is
Oh,
interesting, y'all. Y'all should. Okay. Go right. Okay. Go back a little bit more, Noble. I'm sorry. Up. All right. Right here. Start right there where I was at. There is no reason to believe. Cause I hope
okay.
we catching what Noble's reading, y'all.
There is no reason
Islam,
to
Islam.
believe. Sorry, yeah, Islam. There is no reason to believe that the people who call themselves Maori assumed their native name from foreigners, Europeans, Romans, nor Greeks, as many Black American or African American laymen have proposed, and who I find to largely rely on the common reference to the Greek and Roman languages. After all, North Africa, then called Mauritania, and Spain both had been provinces of the Roman Empire, and as such, they had traded with one another for centuries. Source, page 38, Knights Templar of the Middle East, The Hidden History of the Islamic Origins of Freemasonry by H.R. F. Prince Michael of Albany and Walid Ahmed Sahab.
So Noble,
Go
that
ahead.
actually goes to say there was never any doubt or any mystery to who and what you were.
Islam.
Only to us is a mystery. Islam?
Noble. I tell like the reason why I don't have the energy. I never argue with no one that look like me because I've done this on academia, and no one argues the truth because it's there. You just have to be able to be connected and pull up the history. It's no arbitrary explanation of what we're doing. There's no arbitrary explanation. We're giving it to you, spoon feeding it as a historian and giving you reference. So it's no debate or what about this? We're not even dealing with that. We're here, we're teaching. And so if a person don't agree with teachings, that's their problem. It's no doubt. That's why I said we a nation of laws. That's why I said we're not destroying nothing. We're here to fulfill what? The Constitution and illuminate it. That's what we teach. That's what we're teaching. Oh, so my Noble said, yeah, we on YouTube as well. Gratitude. But continue, Noble. But gratitude, Alonzo, Islam, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Ancient Mauritania spans from North Africa to the coast of Guinea in Nigeria. The oldest English dictionary. Moor, Maurus, Latin, a Negro, a Blackamoor. Oh, I shall answer that better than you can, the getting up of the Negro's belly. The Moor is with child by you. Shakespeare, end quote. As late as 1938, we find the following reference to Moors. Quote, all the Nicene nation of Maurus, Moors, their black color cometh of the inner parts. Source, a dictionary of the English language in which the words are deduced from their original, explained in the different meanings and authorized by the names of the writers in whose works they are found by Johnson.
So do they know what? So do they know what that's saying? That I hope more when they just want to argue for the base of arguing, which I'll be like, it doesn't even make sense. That's why I say the European agree with me. Why? They sons of Muslims. And so it says in which the words are deduced from. So I hope Moors understand linguistics when it said the words are deduced from. In this context, you got to know what that means. From their what? Their originals. Understand the etymology, understand the etymon, understanding what the word meant from, where it originated from. Explain in their different meanings. Connotation, denotation, subjective, objective, and authorized by the names of the writers in whose work they are found by. You see the reference. You see the reference. Look at this antiquity picture. You can go ahead and finish, Noble. I ain't got it. You can finish reading, Noble, and tell me when somebody else want to read. It's all good.
Portrait of Antiquary and author John Cousins, circa 1861. The source is the UK National Portrait Gallery. In his 1893 Handbook of Heraldry, British antiquarian John Edwin Cousins, 1837 to 1899, wrote, "The heads of a Moor or blackamoor and a Saracen are wreathed about the temples with fillet of twisted silk, the tincture or tinctures of which must be mentioned."
So now, what point would you making again right there, Barclay? About the go back down about the Saracens and the black. What was you saying?
So I was saying, but just generally speaking, we have, blackamoor, which we said is referenced in the 1599 Geneva Bible.
Mm-hmm.
And then we also have Saracen, which is referenced in the Dum Diverses, which is basically what the Catholic Church use as, their charge to say, hey, we can go and get these people because, they ain't operating right. They're not with the right God. And so I'm saying in this reference, in this sentence, you basically have them referencing all of those people as the same. They're written as three different names, but they're all the same.
Just like when I was showing y'all in the Thomas Jefferson Quran from the Library of Congress, they called you a Corsican, they called you a Berber, they called you a pirate, called you a blackamoor, right?
Yeah.
Come on, go ahead, Noble. Go ahead. You can finish, Barclay. I'm just enjoying it. I'm just enjoying the teaching.
So the source for that, or you have the picture right here, which is the same sort of picture you've seen, which is a melanated brother. With something tied around his head, right? I'm just trying to keep the definition, real simple, just so everybody can kind of see the graphic. And so the source for the previous sentence, the previous quote that I referenced was the Handbook of Heraldry with instructions for tracing pedigrees and deciphering ancient MSS. I'm not sure what that is. The missions, rules for the appointment of liveries and front cover. John Edwin Cousins, which is that same author again, 1893 Herald.
So you hear what he said? Instruction for tracing pedigrees? Instruction for tracing pedigrees? Come on, man. We ain't stupid. We can read. We educate. That's why I be telling people I'm not here to argue or nothing. I'm not here to destroy. I'm here to fulfill. Continue, Noble.
Islam. So this is a map by Girolamo Russelli, Mauritania, Nuova, Togola, North Africa, and West Africa. Girolamo Russelli. Clayton date is Venice, 1562. So Moor, name, meaning, quote, North German, topographic name for someone who lived in Finn, Middle Low German, Moor, German, and Dutch, name for a man of swarthy complexion.
So let's stop right there. Let's stop. So do we know what words mean? What swarthy mean? AKA, remember in the Netherlands, swarthy Paya, AKA Black Pete, when they try to say Santa's helper, only reason why the Moors like that because he went down the chimney, and the European, no disrespect, dressed up like Santa Claus, the Sanctor Claus. That's some Catholic crazy stuff. But come on, swarthy, that's what we're talking about. Islam, Noble?
Yeah, so Islam. So swarthy is having a dark complexion or color, being of a dark hue or dusky complexion. Tawny, which is another synonym, a swart. Then you have tan, dusky, and or dark. And so I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the one of the letters from Christopher Columbus, his observations, he referenced all the people on the planet. He referenced a number of them as being swarthy complexion.
Yep. And watch this. Also, when we talk about understanding history and language, when we talk about writings from Brazil and Spain and all these other areas, when you say brunette, what color you think they describing, y'all? We already done did this history. What color is brunette?
Dark brown.
Come on, man. Come on, man. It's just what it is. It's nothing to debate. It's nothing to debate. It's nothing to debate. What we have to do with this education, when I tell people, man, I'm not here to debate no one, man. I done this on academia. I'm not here to destroy. I'm here to fulfill. Man, my professors used to say the reason why a lot of us as misnomer Negro blacks of color are cursed because we'll let other people teach us about ourselves and then we'll curse our own people and talk about, oh, he think he's something because he this, not, and the other. No, he's liberated. And we'll celebrate somebody that's bragging about some money and finances and not building. It doesn't make sense. Proceed, Noble.
And so from Middle High German, more, Middle Dutch, more, German, from a short form of an old personal name, Morhart, see Morat. So the source on this is a dictionary of American family names.
There you go. You got to look at American. Why? Because what is American? The copper color races. Found here by the Europeans, but you can't find nothing. They were here. When you look up the Hellenistic, you see, you start putting words together with the Europeans say from their pen what the Hellenistic Jew is, where Hellenist is and all this language and how the European got from where they at to Egypt and etc. Not me. There's nothing to debate. Proceed, Noble.
Hey, quick question. The reason that they claim that they discovered things because of their doctrine of discovery, correct?
Yep. And we ain't even getting to the doctrine of discovery. Proceed, Noble.
More, name, meaning, German, Bavaria, topographic name from Middle High German, more, marsh, bog, or more, North German and Swiss, the variant of Maori, too. So, you know, it really makes you think. You know, when they talk about, okay, if the source is coming from Germany, then all that old stuff that they was, you know what I mean, want to give us all the props for, had to be brothers that were doing that.
Okay. Now you want to make another point? When we talk about Russian icon or Russian icona, when we talk about Alexander Pushkin, as you start doing research and start doing, man, the whole world was dark. In the beginning, the world was dark, period. And that's metaphysically and physically. As you start to doing it, you be like, it's just a fact. There's nothing to be mad about.
Islam.
There's nothing to be mad about. But every European that wrote that first century travelers, just like the books Barclay was showing earlier, and just like any other book, like David McRitchie, for what is it? The Ancient and Modern Britons. And then you got the Negro Gretchen from what is it? Lee Cummings. And how he breaks it down, and how I tell y'all that Jerusalem had and Judah had 3 different names, and you can't get mad at history. And Lewis and Clark, the travelers, and what is it? Black Athena, all these Europeans corrected. And I don't even have to get into our historians. And then I ain't even got into the other references that a lot of people haven't heard of because they're not in academia to prove this. When I talk about my connection with the Philosophical Research Society, it's nothing to debate. Proceed, Noble. Anybody want to keep going? Anybody want to take over? You want somebody else to take over, Barclay?
I mean, I'm good either way. No problem.
Islam.
Moors, name, meaning, English, variant spelling of Moors. This one is spelled Moores. Dutch, nickname for a man of swarthy, that word again, complexion. Or ethnic name for a North African from Moor, Moor. See, Moor, Moore. Dutch, patronymic, from a short form of the Latin personal name Mauritius. See, Morris, which is another form of Moor. Source of this is a Dictionary of American Family Names. Again, that same book from before. Mohrenstraat. I don't know if I said that right. But meanwhile, there has been ongoing debate about Mohrenstraat U-Bahn station. Moor translates literally as Moor. So M-O-H-R translates literally as M-O-O-R.
Like Dr. Ben was trying to tell him when he telling Nick Moore, well, it's built like this. He said, y'all don't know how to read. I don't care. More is more, no matter what you language is in. Goof.
Right.
Proceed, Noble.
Source German, others brutal history should Berlin's African Quarter be renamed? During Germany's colonial expansion, the street served as a place for parades by African delegates, such as representatives from Brandenburg colony, Grafendisburg, now a part of Ghana. To this day, the street is called Mohrenstraat and is even the name for one subway station, Ulrich von der Hayden, Die Mohrenstraat in, ooh, that was a tough one.
Colonial Metropole.
Colonial
Metropole.
Colonial Metropole.
Mm-hmm.
Berlin. Ein Schuprischer Head. Source: Color, Hair, and Bone. Race in the 21st Century. Edited by Lennon Lewis.
All Europeans.
Another one. The word Moor is a loose term that was used in medieval and Renaissance England to refer to the Moors, Blackamoors, Negroes, Indians, Mohammedans, or Muslims. All these terms were more than often than not used interchangeably. The study is concerned with the Moor from North Africa. The words Moor, black man, black Moor, Negro, Ethiopian, or even Turk or Arab were used interchangeably in the 16th and 17th century, in spite of the fact that the English became aware of the distinction between types of black.
Stop right there, Noble. Now we got to make another fact. Just like when the book y'all got, The Arab by Bertram Thomas. If y'all got that book, Bertram Thomas tell you what the Arab is. But also, when you do some more research, they took a page out of the book. I got the old book from the Library of Congress with one of my connections, and they took one of the pages out. You can research that. But anyway, Bertram Thomas tell you exactly what the Arab is. But then also the document that I said it's hard to pull up again, what y'all got, Vladimir Dale's dictionary. What year was his dictionary, y'all? What year was Vladimir Dale's dictionary?
1893.
It shows you, it tells you, explains what an A-rap consists of, and it show you how they try to change letters and things, and show you what an A-rap consists of. It told you. You got that? You got that? That little doc, somebody shared it with the Vladimir Dale's because we couldn't pull it up. I think Brian shared it a little bit, but that's another checkpoint as well. Indeed, Islam. Proceed, Noble.
The word Moor was commonly used to refer to Muslims in general, whether they came from Africa or Asia. Thus, the inhabitants of the island of Maluka, part of today's Malaysia, are referred to as Moors in religion. In fact, as Anthony Gerald Bartholomew puts it, almost everyone who was not Christian, European, or Jewish could have been called a Moor. This includes Asians, Native Americans, Africans, Arabs, and all Muslims, regardless of ethnicity.
So what was our prophet saying in chapter 25 of the Moor Quran? The united of what?
Asian.
Oh, okay.
From everywhere. The source for this is the image of Moors in the writing of the four Elizabethan dramatists.
So stop right there, because that's another learn. I hope. Do Moors know what Elizabethan dramatists mean?
No.
See? That's another research Moors should do, and it should be a see, I'll tell it, well, that's an era. That's a time period, just like when we talk about dispensations. So look up these things. These is key things. When a person be talking something, you can be like, stop, and you can fact check them, because they'll be all over the place, and they'll be in the wrong dispensation. Islam? Islam.
Is that
Proceed.
like Queen Elizabeth? No?
Okay, I gonna tell you. You gonna tell me. You gonna tell me. You gonna be able to tell me. But I'll give you a little hint. Just like when we talk about the one of the biggest wars in the world that wasn't talked about, which is the war of what?
1812.
Which is the war of what? All right, I ain't saying no more.
Yes, Islam.
The war of Ferdinand and Isabella. Just like the European that wrote Morocco as it is, Stephen Bonzo. I tell everybody, I say, man, it's nothing to it's nothing to argue with. Proceed, Noble.
And I'm gonna read this. Don't take it down real quick, Brian. I'm gonna read this this definition. And so this last sentence says a thesis submitted for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy submitted by Muhammad Ibrahim Hassan Al-Askari to the University of Exeter, April in 2008.
You see Hassan Al-Askari, Al-Askari. I'll tell you a little bit about names too, and how people put things on it it's like to cover things up. But you see the L, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Proceed, Noble.
It's a more historical rather than ethnographical term. And that's another word to look up right there, ethnographical. People don't know it. Form applied to a very different peoples of northwestern Africa. In Roman history, it is applied to inhabitants of Mauritania, which is Morocco and Algeria.
Still Africa.
But still, yeah, exactly. Who were in part Phoenician colonists. In Spanish history, the quote-unquote Moors and quote-unquote Moriscos were mainly Berbers rather than, as commonly suspected, Arabs. Today, the word is wrongly applied. The word is wrongly applied to the rifts of Morocco and to the town dwellers of Algeria and Tunis. The latter call themselves generally quote-unquote Arabs, although often in part of Berber blood. The Moors, in a stricter ethnological sense, are the mixed Taraza, and other tribes of the western coast from Morocco to the Senegal, mainly of nomadic habits. They are of mixed Berber, Arab, and often Negro blood. Many speak Arabic. See Semitic, Hamitic. And so this is the quote-unquote U.S. Immigration Dictionary of Races and People, was originally included to guide the immigration commission workers, but when it became clear that it would appear too late for that, it came to be seen as the commission's summation of knowledge about each race or people. More historical rather than a ethnographical term. Oh, I just read that. Huh?
Yep.
Oh, I could have made it easy for myself. So.
Yeah.
Oh well. And again, the source was Dictionary of Races of People by the United States Immigration Commission, 1907 to 1910.
Yep.
So predominant was the black skin of Moorish invaders of Europe. That blackamoor, black as a Moor, came to be used not only for Moroccans, but for other blacks as Ethiopians and Sudanese. As Elliot Smith says, quote-unquote, Negro admixture is so evident among the Moroccan population that the word Moor is often used to suggest Negro influence as we see it, blackamoor. Seen in history, page 124 in 1919. The Oxford Dictionary also says it was commonly used for Negro in the Middle Ages as late as the 17th century. Hambly, a more recent writer, quote-unquote, in Physique, a Moor may be a Berber or an Arab or a mixture of the two with Negro blood as well. End quote. Source, Book of Anthropology. But since many Arabs and Berbers are already Negro. What did you say, Barclay? But since many Arabs and Berbers are already Negro, Moors are, on the whole, darker than the average American mulatto. Source, Nature Knows No Color Lines, Researching the Negro Ancestry and the White Race by J.A. Rogers. Laying it out real clean and easy for you. In ancient Mauritania is wider in terms of geographic dimension than it is today. It stretched from North Africa to West and Central Africa. Strabo corroborates the fact that Mars, Mori, Moors named themselves by stating Maori was a name used by the natives of Mauritania, as well as the Romans. Mori is probably the better way I should say it, was a name used by the natives of Mauritania, not just the Romans or Greeks. Source Strabo Geographies. That's 27. Okay. More forms. Maur, more, Maori, more with an E, more. Now with initial capital. ME being Middle English, more, AF, more, 13th century. Mori with the E, add L Mount. That's medium L Morris, GR, Mopos, CF, SP special page, and Moro, MDU, more, Mari, the more, Old High German, more, MC, M6H, MHG, Mr. Mar, Mod, G More, the LS Maris, GR, Mopos, may possibly be from some North African language. Some believe the word to be merely a use of GR Mopos, black, which on this view is but the adjective, or at least this sense of it is confirmed to late GR and may even be derived from the ethnic name. One, in ancient history, a native of Mauritania, a region of North Africa corresponding to the parts of Morocco and Algeria. In later times, one being the people of mixed Berber and Arab race, Mohammedan in religion, who constitute the bulk of population of Northwest Africa, and who in the 8th century conquered Spain. In the Middle Ages and as late in the 17th century, the Moors were commonly supposed to be mostly black or very swarthy, though the existence of white Moors was recognized, and hence the word was often used for Negro, cf. Blackamoor. Source, a New English Dictionary on Historical Principles found mainly on the materials collected by the Philological Society. Let's say male head with Negro features. The seabed, let's see, that's CE 12093, hometown. The seabed in the vicinity of the tip of Nile, La Caleta. Dating 6th century BC, Museum of Cadiz, cultural context. Phoenician Punic, hometown. Playa da Caleta, Cadiz. Cadiz, Northwest Coast District, Cadiz Province. Negroid, Underwater Archaeological Survey, Berdicio. Meta, Antonio specific site location, Playa La Caleta. The quote, Mori, another Northwest African people whose color received frequent notice, were at times described as Negri. That's black. And
Come on, Nola.
Source, The Golden Age of the Moors by Ivan Van Serva.
So when these people be talking, Barclay, when I be saying I'm not even gonna say that, they be all this, then they hold the book up. I'm like, the book is in the book you holding up. So if you read the book that you holding up, you will be checked by the signs that you have, and you burning the hell out your fingers.
Right. Source, Before Color Prejudice, The Ancient View of Blacks by Frank M. Snowden. Quote, the Negri is derived from the Italian word Negri. So the Nigri is derived from the Italian word the Nugri, which means black. The recorded spellings of Nigri include Negri, Negro, Nigri, Nigris, Nigra, Negrs, Negrelli, Negrotto, Negrello, Negroni, and many more.
Damn Negroni. You damn Negroni.
Negrello, Negrato, Negrelli, Greece, everything. Negri history, family crest, and coats of arms. Isidore.
Wait. Stop right there. Don't pass that, Barclay. So now let's do another fact check. When you get these religious Negroes, no disrespect. A lot of Al-Islam, Muslim, Nation of Islam, I love all my brothers. But when they come with this, your last name is some slave and this tribal Shabazz, no disrespect. I love all that. But it's just telling you from history and from law why more science is a science and not a religion, because we don't gravitate to one science where we miss the essence of the rest. It just said, the European just told you the history, the family crest and coat of arms. The family crest and coat of arms. The family crest and coat of arms. So I hope you know what a family crest and a coat of arms consist of.
Does everybody know? Does anybody that don't know?
Say it again.
Did everybody know what a family crest?
Well, that's what we're here for. So that's what we're here for. So if a person knows, that's like when the person say, "Hey man, in Islam," and then they don't know, and it's like, well, we were in class to get an understanding, because some people not going to research that piece. They're not going to read what they family crest. Or when I say I'm a Goodman, when I tell people my family crest, when I'm not no slave, when our family been here forever, when I say your coat of arms or your family crest, and when you start seeing things, our prophet. See, it's two things that you can do when you're in the flesh, when you can correct history and you can see contradiction in things. When one person say your last name is a slave name, and then another person, and then the same person in the same breath will say annex. You got to understand what annex mean. Annex to something that you already have. And the teacher said that you don't get rid of your last name and your family inheritance where you give up your name for a morsel. You annex. So if a person saying your last name is a slavery name, and then we say we annex your tribal name because we all are a Bay and an El or Ali or whatever, but your code of your family crest is the name that your mama gave you. That's why I'm a Goodman Bay. That's why he's a Alonzo Wright Bay. That's why he's a Barclay Bay. My last name is not a slave name. How can my last name be a slave name? And we shouldn't be talking about we from the people of the book. We from the tribe of Judah, lineage of David by blood. So what slave you telling me? What slave? I'm a Moorish American. My family is not a slave. I don't take that. I don't have no history of my family being a slave. I don't know about yours, but I don't have no history of my family being a slave. None. Zero. I'm not saying some people wasn't slaves or family wasn't slaves. I ain't here to debate that. But I'm telling you, my family wasn't no damn slaves. Period.
Those are current events.
Period. I have no history. Like I tell Morris, when I was in school and I was showing picture of my dad and mom, I said, man, I got pictures of my dad and mom. This ain't no slavery. They have on land. Farmers. My dad and mom. What are you talking about? I'm a Goodman. I'm proud to be a Goodman. But I'm a Moor. Please. They done got this twisted. Proceed, Noble.
Isidore, a Catholic scholar and the Archbishop of Seville, 587 and 636, wrote that the word Maurus, M-A-U-R-U-S, meant black. The Maori possess bodies black as night, while their skins of the Gauls are white.
Huh? This ain't other, like I said, when I say the European agree with me as the scholar, they all sons of Muslims. What you mean? They all are under a particular, how can I say it, expertise of science. They might not tell you, but they have to identify to someone that's true. And in academia, I spoke like this. They might not like my candor, but my empress is right here to tell you. It's just what it is. It's just what it is. And we got a couple of minutes left. We can give a couple of minutes left, Barclay, and we can wrap up.
Okay. Source: Etymologies of Isidore Seville, 6th century AD. The Iberian roots of American races through James H. Sweet, the William and Mary Quarterly. For example, in Middle English, romance called King, K-Y-N-G, Elisa under circa 1175. The conqueror Darius has among his troops a contingent of soldiers led by Duke Mauryan, M-A-U-R-Y-N. Regarding Mauryan, J.B. Friedman writes that it sounds rather like Moor in this context. in old European children's songs like the Dutch song Moriantje, about a little Moor as black as soot. Source: Blacks in the Dutch World, the Evolution of Racial Imagery in a Modern Society. The Roman dramatist Plautus, 254 to 184 BC, maintained that the Latin word Maurus, M-A-U-R-U-S, was a synonym for Niger or nigger, N-I-G-R. And contrasting the Moors of the 6th century with another racial group in North Africa, Procopius, circa 550 AD, wrote that they were not black-skinned like the Moors. That was another group that was in North Africa that they're making a distinction. That's not Moors. At least not in, quote unquote, skin and color.
Come on,
the earliest European account of the Moorish invasion of Spain, the Chronicle of 754, refers to the Visigothic capitulation, the so-called, quote unquote, loss of Spain, Perdida de España, at the hands of the, quote unquote, Arabs, Moors sent by Musa or Musa in.
Hold on. Hey, let's make that a significance on what's underlying, Noble. That fact we made earlier. Remember, look, this is a fact right here. Listen to this, Noble. The earliest European account of the Moors' invasion of Spain, the Chronicle of 1754, refers to the Visigothic capitulation, the so-called loss of Spain, at the hands of the Arabs. But Arab, A-R-A-P, A-R-A-B, according to Vladimir Dale's 1863 dictionary, meant a black-skinned person. So I hope we catching these things.
The loss of Spain was at the hand of the black-skinned person.
Come on, man. I hope people catching what we saying. Their pen is agreeing with what I'm saying. So why would anybody that look like you sit up in a debate you over something that the European that you want to call it that is telling you exactly, spitting out like, I don't know, like he's telling, like what? They sons of Muslims is right in your face. So what's the debate? What's the debate?
I mean, that's the famous, Moors taking over in Spain that we always reference. I mean, that's basically what they're talking about right there. So, in Historia de España, History of Spain, the vernacular chronicle composed in Spain, we find a characteristic portrayal. All the Moorish soldiers were dressed with silk and black wool that has been forcibly acquired. Their black faces were like pitch, and the most handsome of them was black as a cooking pan. Damn. The extensive European historiography of the Crusades is replete with similar portrayals. French, Italian, and English historians of the medieval Moors and later Turks repeat the stereotypes and reinforce this negative image.
And as we go on, we're going to keep giving facts. Remember, in the Library of Congress, I shared with y'all earlier, and you can find it, who they say the Turks are. The Turks and the Moors were the same thing, ancient. This ain't my pen. Y'all got it? I showed y'all the book with the dot number is there. So it's nothing to argue. Once again, Islam
is 5:30 workout time.
Yep. So gratitude, nobles, gratitude. We'll stop right there. We'll pick up Thursday where we left off. Islam and Islam. Let's do our Moorish American prayer. We out of here, nobles. Anybody?
Allah, Father of the universe, Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, my protector, my God, and my salvation, by night and by day, whose holy prophet, Nobu Ali, Ayash, Shalom, Alakim, peace, 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 peace.